If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Maybe we all should take a summer vacation to Montreal and get this place shut down for what they're trying to do up there. And before I get to this story, which has left me borderline speechless for the last couple hours since I've found it, and as all of you know, it's pretty rare that I'm left speechless. I just want to say sometimes the titles of my videos, it might be something along those lines of summer vacation. You might look at it and go, what is he even trying to say? The reason for that is to get around Google's algorithm. Their bots detect certain keywords and headlines, even URLs that are in there that have the keywords in it. That's why I haven't been leaving links to these articles. And when their bots detect it, that is why, one, they will pull ads from the videos. They'll still allow it to be monetized, but they won't show ads. Number two, they'll hide it from your subscription feed. And three, the bot will put your channel in a flagged basket where the video content should be flagged. So I can't exactly say the words Zionism or pedophilia, those types of things, because the bots will pick up on it. So I just wanted to let everybody know that's why. It's not just trying to be clever and funny with some of the names. It's really just a way of trying to beat a computer is really what I'm trying to do. Is trying to get around a bot and an algorithm by making sure it can't detect this stuff so it doesn't hide it from all of you, the subscribers, and bury it. Now, get a load of this. This is going on in Montreal at a maximum security mental health facility. Polygraphs for pedophiles. How virtual reality is used to assess sex offenders. You might say, I don't know what that means. Well, once I read you what it means, your jaw will drop, because it's not only disturbing, but this is the same exact stuff that they were doing for MK Ultra, right? They would go to these mental health facilities and they'd run these tests. They create Manchurian candidates. They do all sorts of things to study the brain, to study how people acted. Then they'd send these guys out into the real world as either agents or as completely broken individuals. And that's why I always mention the poor homeless people. Sometimes you see a guy walking the streets talking to himself and people just go, oh, he's crazy. That's because he's been broken. They send people back out in the world after they break their brain down. It is absolutely horrifying, and it is an absolute atrocity what they do to humans, because they treat us like mice, like lab rats. So in a maximum security mental health facility in Montreal is a cave-like virtual reality vault that's used to show images of child sex abuse to sex offenders. So get this, sex offenders who are in this mental health facility are watching child pornography in virtual reality. I kid you not, but it gets worse. Patients sit inside the vault with devices placed around their penises to measure signs of arousal as they are shown computer-generated animations of naked children. This is funded and supported by the government in Canada. I'm sure this is going on in America too. Who are we kidding? And in the UK. This is going on around the world. But what's more scary, not just the fact that this is going on, is the fact that they're trying to pass this off as saying, by doing these tests, by tying this stuff to their genitals, and seeing, what stimulates their penis, what part of the pornography, they want to determine, is it violence that drives them? And I'll read as this article goes on how big of a joke this is, how people fall for it. But what I'm concerned about is understanding how MK Ultra works. This, to me, seems like more of a way to create an actual pedophile. If you think about it, they tie something to your crotch. You're sitting there watching naked virtual reality porn where they're doing whatever they can to arouse you sexually through showing these kids, and then they stimulate your penis during the arousal. It sounds like torture, but this is the stuff that was done in MK Ultra. This is what they did to children, to people. They use trauma-based mind control. That's how they create Manchurian candidates. That's how they create CIA, these government agents who operate and work for the CIA and do their handling. It's absolutely unbelievable. So get this. Patricia Renaud, who heads up the project at the Institute Philippe Pinel in Montreal. I'm definitely not saying that right, so who cares? We do develop pornography, she says, but these images and animations are not used for the pleasure of the patient, but to assess them. It's a little bit like using a polygraph, but with other measurement techniques. The system, combined with other psychological assessments, is used to build up a profile of the individual's sexual preferences that can be used by the court to determine the risk they pose to society and by mental health professionals to determine treatment. They say not all child molesters are pedophiles. Huh? They're not? Not in my book. Not when I look at somebody. You molest a child, there's no excuse around it. You're a pedophile. They say people who are sexually attracted to children, and not all pedophiles, molest children. Although the terms are often wrongly used interchangeably. Is that a joke? In many cases, those who molest children are situational offenders, which means their offense is outside of their typical sexual preference or behavior. And I'll continue on in a second. I want to observe what we just read. Think about that, right? Not all child molesters are pedophiles. We know that pedophilia is going to be legal. I've been talking about, everybody's been talking about, anybody who's awake knows that's the end game for this whole movement with the trannies, with the one gender, with the equality across all these, made up genders that they keep creating. And they're going to come out just like with homosexuality. They're going to say people are born this way. We have the man-boy lovers associations. These are the sickest of the sick. I was going to say the sickest human beings walking up, but they're not human. These people are demonically possessed. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. She goes on to say, you can have someone who molested a child once, but is not a pedophile as such. They may have been intoxicated or have another mental health disorder. I mean, are you kidding me? It's a perversion. These people should be thrown in cages. Intoxicated by alcohol? I mean, are you kidding me? All of us have had a drink before. This never crossed my mind once, ever. But that's an excuse they can use, right? She goes on to say, we need to know if they have a preferred mood of sexual expression. They use virtual reality for two reasons. First, because it does not involve images of real people, but digital ones. Oh, okay, and that's not going to influence them in some way. And second, because the immersive nature of the medium allows researchers to measure something closer to natural behavior. The vault itself is a small room with screens on all sides, onto which are projected animations of naked children and adults standing in natural settings. I mean, get a look at this picture. This is absolutely repulsive. It's repulsive. But because it's animation, remember, it's not bad because they drew it. Right, so they can use animation to get people involved in pedophilia. A lot of you are new to the channel. Early on in my channel, I've talked about, and I don't even know if those videos are still up or if they got taken down during the massive censorship of taking videos down by YouTube. But I talked to somebody who was a Satanist and was also, involved in pedophilia, was molested, on the end of being molested and abused. And he talked about in Satanism, when he was being brought into it, how they would put all of these kids, all the kids who were born into these covens, in a room, and they would watch child pornography, but they wouldn't watch actual kids because the kids would be alarmed and creeped out. So what they would do is they would make them watch cartoon porn, because apparently there's some sick scum out there producing cartoons like Mickey Mouse having sex with each other. And the kids would see that and think it was okay, because they'd say, it's a cartoon, it's Mickey, it's Donald Duck, or at least a character similar to it. And they would get comfortable with it, and then they would start talking to them about trying it on each other, and they wouldn't feel scared or nervous, as opposed to if they just put on child pornography. That is how sick and deranged these people are, to use mind control on children to accept pedophilia, on adults to become pedophiles. It is unbelievable that this is allowed, that this is going on in a government-funded maximum security mental health facility. Anyone want to go up to Montreal? I mean, we might not be able to do anything, but we can probably get a couple dozen eggs and pelt the place, because obviously we'll just get arrested for speaking out. There's nothing that can be done because the government's involved in it. They're supporting it. They're funding it. They know what the plan is. Absolutely sick. The patients sit on a stool inside the chamber wearing stereoscopic glasses, which create three-dimensional effects on the surrounding walls. The glasses are fitted with eye-tracking technology to ensure they aren't trying to trick the system by avoiding looking at the critical content. These guys do not like going through this assessment, the woman said. So why are you putting them through it? They should be in jail. Is where they should be I would say for life would be fair, but people won't agree with that. She says it's not easy for someone to discover he is attracted to violently molesting a kid. He may have been using the internet for some masturbatory activities using non-violent images or videos of kids, which is not a good thing. But being tested in the lab and knowing he is also attracted to violence may be something that's very difficult to understand. She acknowledges the use of penile plasmography, which involves placing a cuff-shaped sensor around the genitals. She realizes it is controversial. It's not only invasive, but there is some disagreement in the scientific community about its reliability in measuring sexual deviancy. I'm so sick of this crap that they put out there and say science, and technology. Listen, if a grown man is attracted to a young child, we got a problem, okay? And we can handle the problem one of two ways. We could take it to the streets, we can grab our pitchforks, or we could put them in a cage. Because clearly the justice system doesn't protect children from these people because they spend less time in jail than someone who doesn't pay their taxes. So we can't trust the system. But instead they're going, oh, well, the scientific community, we're having disagreements about, the way that we're studying the mind of this pedophile. I'll tell you how to study it. You touch a kid, you're a creep, and you should be caged. It is unbelievable. She goes on to say, if we find that the guy is attracted to children and doesn't feel empathy for the fact that the child is in pain, that's good information for predicting behavior. Renaud and his team assess about 80 patients per year, including pedophiles, rapists, and other sexual deviants assigned by the court for assessment. So this is MK Ultra at its finest. That's what this is. Because this isn't just going, oh, well, this is for the betterment of humanity. For the betterment of humanity is to change all laws pertaining to sex offenders, give them way more time in jail. Then when they're out, they should be under surveillance 24/7, even if they should be allowed to be free, which I don't agree with. They should be caged or send them to an island. There's plenty of islands out there. Put on one of those shows on cable. Oh, you could buy your own island. Can we? How about our government uses our taxes and we buy up 10 islands? We ship all the pedophiles to as many islands as needed. Then we have other islands where we can ship the trannies and they could stay there. And then guess what? We wouldn't have this sick perversion going on. Oh yeah, and blow up our televisions. That's how we solve this stuff. But this is unbelievable because this is technology getting passed off as, well, this is a great thing because we're going to learn more about the pedophile's behavior, if he's really attracted to the child or if it's just something with violence, if he's really a predator or not. They got a taser attached to the guy's crotch and they're making him watch anime porn where kids and parents are sexually, or not parents, but kids and adults are sexually involved in intercourse, walking around butt naked. You don't think that's influential on these guys when you're tasering them in the crotch while they're watching this? It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. This is how they plan on solving some of the issues with pedophiles, if they should be allowed to be let back into society. I'll answer it without your stupid test that costs millions of dollars to create. I'll answer it right now. Lock them up, don't let them out, and don't let them ever near kids. Answer to your solution. Guess what? I just saved you $50 million in government funding. Maybe you can use that money and help out the homeless people or help out people who need it. Because it sure as heck isn't needed in this case. This is a waste of time, a waste of money, and this is their way to perform and test these MK Ultra type CIA operations on people and influence them. Is this going to make the pedophile not want to molest a child anymore? Isn't that what these facilities should be doing? Somehow rehabbing these people, giving them a Bible, snapping them out of this perversion or demonic possession they're under? Shouldn't that be what they're doing? Rehabbing them instead of showing them child pornography and promoting it and zapping them? I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It never stops. The governments support this stuff because the governments love these people and want them to be free. Not just because the people in our government who are Satanists are involved in all this stuff, because we know there are some sex offenders who are not a part of these covens and secret societies and stuff like that, who really are sick and have a mental problem and they need to be locked up, period. But they also like it because they'll let stories about individual pedophiles come into the mainstream. They'll blast that on TV because it takes attention away from who? Away from them and the trafficking rings. They make it an isolated incident. Oh, some guy in some state who lives in a trailer molested a child, right? And they'll put it on Nancy Grace or whatever these stupid shows are, and everybody will get all emotional and act like they care about kids, and everybody will be in an uproar. Meanwhile, it leads the attention to the left, when in reality, if you looked over to the right, you could see that the elites are the ones who are making billions of dollars annually buying and selling children. Welcome to our world, folks. It's absolutely insane what they get away with. Absolutely insane. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.